Tell me to not smile.
Pass number 5, he'll pass Will Asher.
Everything's working into his favor.
At the 2023 IWWF World Water Ski Championships, Freddie Winter!
I wanted to be a world champion. I wanted to be the best in the world. And I kind of obviously realized that that was not the easiest thing in the world, but I saw a pathway. The worst thing about it was the initial bit. I went from being an athletic, strong, healthy person to being someone that was very, very incapable. So I've been water skiing now for, the best part of 30 years. I basically grew up around it. My parents have been doing it for a very long time. I've been at the lake every weekend from my childhood really up until now. Since I was sort of there so much, my parents told me, hey, you can have a go. I've also seen a lot of people that I grew up with, like they tried it, didn't like it, whatever, and also like their parents pushed them too much, which I think is the same with any sport for kids. You see parents who are just awful, but I was very lucky because my parents didn't do that. They were positively more interested in what they were doing than what I was doing. I was allowed to ski for myself and without feeling any pressure, and from there, like I caught the bug and I wanted to be a world champion. I wanted to be the best in the world. Obviously realized that that was not the easiest thing in the world, but I saw a pathway, skiing as much as I could, going through the winters, doing the harder stuff, like getting super cold on a Saturday and a Sunday in a lake which was close to freezing, and then moved into tournaments and then became competitive and reached a solid level. Continued on from there. I think that the time you realise that it's not a hobby is the time where you kind of hate it but still come back to it. So there was a number of moments like that. The big one where I really had a huge amount of self-doubt and I sort of let myself down was my first European Championships when I was 14, so it was the under 14 Europeans. And I wasn't necessarily the favourite, but I would have been the top 3 or 4. And I was trying to, get on the podium at least and maybe win. I came third to last because I just got so nervous. I got, and people talk about the yips in golf. I just had that. I had no idea what I was doing. I fell and it literally felt like my world had ended. I was praying, I'm not religious, but I was praying that I could start the day again as I went to sleep that night. Maybe I believed I could get there, I don't know, but I picked myself back up and was like, no, this is not just something I enjoy a little bit, this is where my heart is. I managed to get to a level where I thought I could not only be competitive and make the final of a World Championships, I thought I could win. And the story I tell, which I find so funny, I phoned my mum up. I was training in America prior to going to Chile for that World Championships, and I phoned my mum up and I said, I'm good enough, I can go get a medal. And she's like, oh, that's great, darling. And she puts the phone down and she says to my dad, oh, poor him, he's just gonna be so disappointed.
Freddie Winter!
We do this for passion, and this is my aim.
Hey man, that was some really spectacular skiing. I think I heard Tony saying one of the top pro performances we've had from a men's final.
What a ride, man. That's why we do this.
IWWF World Water Ski Championships from Great Britain!
Room for error on the pod out of the gates is about the width of a garden hose.
Yeah, and Freddie coming in, gets a pretty good one. Let's see, that's a pretty good one there, guys. Let's see, big play on 2. Can he get to 3? Does. He's going to get a play on 3.
Keep going there,
gosh,
Freddie. Come
Freddie,
on.
let's go.
Oh, and it's going to come down to where the handle
So
was.
I had a number of skiers after me, so I didn't know if that was going to hold up, and I was in a position to actually do better than what I did. So my first reaction was, oh my god, I messed up, I've left the door open when I really had it, really somewhat in the bag, certainly that pass. So I thought I'd drop the World Championships, and I said it as I got onto the bank there, I'm going to regret that for the rest of my life. There I am, look, I'm on the bank, distraught. Yeah, I mean, it went from being potentially a huge regret to being a big, my biggest achievement of my life. You know, looking at this here, I was so upset. I was so upset. What feelings do I have thinking about the crash? Well, it's a good question. I'm trying not to let it affect me because I know I'm going to have to go back. I had a huge swing, lost control, shut my eyes, braced my head. I could feel the hit that I from the dock, which was a surprise. It didn't hurt that much. Apparently I tried to stand up, like in the water on a leg, which we didn't notice for probably a minute, you know, that my leg was literally like sort of sideways and just swollen, looked like a weird smashed melon. Little thing that I've not done is watch the video, for good reason, because I don't want to be in a tournament next year and have it come to mind at the wrong time. It's definitely been a rough couple of months. The moment I noticed that my leg was broken, I had a guy, you know, because everyone rushed down and it was quite dramatic. No one's hit a dock before from water skiing. I mean, it doesn't happen. It was very unlikely. I had a friend of mine grab me from behind. We were obviously quite close to the bank. So he grabbed me from behind and he's sitting in his full clothes in the water. And I'm looking at her and I'm going, am I okay, am I okay? And she's like, you know, I think you're okay, I think you're okay. And then we both looked down at exactly the same time and she looked at my leg. And it was fucking it was huge. And I could see it was slightly off axis and I'm going, oh my God, I've broken my femur.
Is your plan to be world champion again?
Yeah, no, I will. It might be that the next World Championship someone beats me, but I will be on extremely good form at that point. I was kind of like, well, last year I did so well, and now I'm just trying to do it again. And that's great, but like, it's just trying to repeat. And this has actually given me a higher motivation because it's not like I'm different. Like I've been through a traumatic experience, but also my body is different. My leg is slightly shorter now than it was. You know, I lost 0.5 centimetre on this leg. My foot isn't facing the same direction. There's a mental fear, but I'm so motivated to overcome that and to be, you know, better than I was before. And I think I know for sure that there'll be a lot of people that have thought, oh, well, you know, poor him, that's the end of his career. Well, it's not happening, and I'm going to prove them wrong.
Yeah, so I've been walking on it, so I have a bit of strength forward, backward, but this way I have nothing. It's yeah, and then I've got to like bring this up and lift. It's tough. I do it on the other side, and it's so easy, and you kind of just feel a long way to go, but one small step.
I still love water skiing as much as I absolutely hate it sometimes. It's you know, without being too cheesy, it's the greatest thing that ever happened to me is getting involved in it. This probably was the absolute best place in the whole of my body if I was going to get hit to get hit, because going from most extreme, if I'd hit my head, I'd be dead. If I'd hit my back, I'd be paralyzed. I mean, I hit with that force. But I've had people, my parents have told me, you know, we're just so surprised with how positive you've been. I guess I'm quite proud of that like, as much as it's a really unfortunate situation, and it's something that felt pretty unavoidable. I mean, you know, at some point you can get hurt. This was quite extreme. But I feel like I'm really happy that I've been able to sort of like have that adversity, to have something that, you know, most people wouldn't really want to go through. I'll tell you what's really funny is I got in the hydrotherapy pool. It was my first time that I could walk without a crutch. The hydrotherapy physio said to me, you know, it's going to be a very tough process for you because it's going to be very small steps. You know, you're not going to see much improvement. And I thought about it and I said to her, well, I do a sport where you do the same thing every day. And if you're improving by 0.5% every week, it's a bloody miracle. You know, this is huge. So I'm used to a frustrating life where things don't get better necessarily. Like my work, I don't necessarily improve, and sometimes you don't know why you improve, and sometimes you get worse and you shouldn't. Whereas now, every day is a bit better. I feel like I'm more mobile, I can do a bit more, I'm less in pain every day. So that's a really exciting thing for me to kind of, so I can only assume that that trajectory is going to continue until I'm exactly where I was. So yeah, that I think that's probably a big thing for me is feeling that improvement and allowing that feed into positivity, and from there to move forward to go and be better. There's no reason I can't be.